Hey, you might have heard folks talk about good debt or bad debt or all credit card is bad. And I want to just pose a different counterpoint and just talk about the usage of debt and how you can actually use debt to magnify your income, or how debt could be used very dangerously to destroy your income. So stay tuned and I'll talk to you all about that. Hey, how's it going? My name is Eric. I'm your abundant BFF. And as always, I'm here to help you discover freedom and abundance. The one thing I've started realizing as I've been an entrepreneur over all this time is that debt is a tool. Money is a tool. Now, you might have heard from folks like Dave Ramsey, for example, where he says debt is bad. He's talking about all about using cash and putting cash into envelopes, all the way to like really hyper aggressive entrepreneurs talking about maximizing and leveraging debt and saying using other people's money or OPM. And you might have heard both sides of the story. But what I wanted to share with you is just a little bit of my own experience on utilizing debt, how it caused a lot of troubles and problems with my own business, but also how I utilize it to help grow business as well. So a while ago, actually it's a long time ago, back when I was in college, I started a business called Hyper Technocraft. And it was basically an automotive aftermarket car parts company where we sold rims, body kits, turbos, all that kind of stuff. If you remember the movies, The Fast and the Furious, basically our shop was a shop that sold all that. But it didn't start off as a shop. It all started off one day when I was walking as a freshman into college, into the campus center. And in the campus center, I don't know if they do it anymore, but there's this guy that was giving out free t-shirts and mugs, coffee mugs. And I was always raised by my dad, who was a refugee, that, hey, if it's free, it's for me. Go ahead and take it, regardless if you have to sign up for something. So I went in, I signed up for something, put my name and all these things down, and this is the years of easy credit. Not realizing that this t-shirt that I got and this mug I got was actually an application for a credit card. Now, keep in mind, I had no income. I was a freshman in college. I didn't have any job, no credit. And like 2 weeks later in the mail, I got a credit card from, I think it was Visa, for a $5,000 credit line, which is absolutely ridiculous. I don't know if credit is that easy these days or not. I have the same credit that I've had for decades now, but I had this credit card with like $5,000. What to do with this? Now, a lot of my friends in college, they took those credit cards because everybody got it. They took those credit cards and bought the newest TVs for their dorms, computers, rims for their cars, clothing. They went out to eat, all these things. But for me, I saw this as an opportunity, this $5,000 I've never had before. What can I do with it? Can I make money with it? And this is when I was going to college, I was intending to go to business school at Rutgers University in New Jersey. So I took this credit card, and at the time, just like most young men were, I was into the car scene. I love the import car scene. I had a 1991 Toyota MR2, naturally aspirated. I also had a 1986 Corolla GTS. This is before anybody even really cared about these cars. And I absolutely loved it. And I was like, man, I want to make more money to hook my cars up, but I don't want to spend money out of my credit card to buy it. Little did I realize like that financial discipline would play a large role in how I grew my business. So I took that money and I went out and I went to a couple of different trade shows in the area, and I saw that there's one company that was printing decals or stickers for cars. Basically, they were taking these vinyl sheets and cutting out stickers, and you take these stickers, you put on the cars to make the cars look cooler. I decided to go spend my first $2,000 on a vinyl cutter and vinyl supplies, and I was off to the races. I learned how to use this software Corel Draw to make all of the designs, and I exported it and I cut out vinyl. I taped it all up and I sold it to people on eBay and then also locals for the car shows. And that's how I first got my business started, from a lowly $5,000 credit line. Now, as I started making more money in that business, I became a little bit less financially responsible because I was always thinking, I'm always gonna make a profit on this stuff. So I started buying inventory. I started buying car parts, utilizing my credit card to resell it. And I got a little aggressive. I started buying parts for cars that I knew the demand was there, but I didn't really know how much demand there was. I also started getting a little bit careless on just my own expenses because I was basically operating my business as my own piggy bank, which is a complete no-no. If you're a business owner, do not operate your business as a personal piggy bank. But I was having revenue coming in. I was like one of the first e-commerce sellers of car parts, bringing in like a decent amount of revenue. And at the time, I wanted to grow and scale my company. I met up with another buddy of mine who was into Toyota MR2s as well. He had a red 1991 red turbo, cool guy. And we became friends, and we eventually started partnering up together, and we started operating our business together, unfortunately with no business agreement. But again, I was running on debt, and he had a lot of credit cards because his family was well off. And in order for us to scale and grow and become what we call warehouse distributors of Ground Design's 2000 body kits and JSE Magic suspension coilovers, we needed to take on capital. So we started taking on more and more and more debt to allow us to grow a company. And the company at one point got up to $1 million in total sales. The only problem with that is because we're constantly cycling through debt, because we're constantly getting through debt, the interest, the finance charges of the credit cards were eating our profit margins alive. Where we thought we were making good profit, hey, if we sell this kit for this, we make $300 on this as a profit. It sounded great, but we kept forgetting that we had finance charges on the credit cards. And so in $1 million per year business, and this is back in, I think, 2001 when Fast and Furious first came out, I think our profit margin was really slim. I think I was bringing in like $300 a week as like my own compensation, which was ridiculous. Working full time, 8 hours a week in my shop, going to school full time, trying to keep myself together. It was a disaster. Anyway, me and my business partner, we ended up having a falling apart in terms of our relationship, and we both ended up with a lot of debt from the business. And it wasn't until many years later that I finally paid off all of that debt that I had on those credit cards for the business. And so, you know, when I look back, there's a couple of lessons that I've learned from my experience. Number one, debt should be utilized merely as a tool, just like money, or just like a gun. There's a lot of folks that say guns kill people. It's actually people kill people, right? The gun is a tool, or a knife is a tool, or debt is a tool. The debt can be utilized for good or it can be used for bad. And the only problem is because we live in such a consumer society, most people utilize debt in a bad way. They're purchasing depreciating assets. They're buying a brand new car for themselves. It's losing money the moment it comes off the lot. They're buying a brand new TV that they have no resale value on, right? You're buying depreciating assets. Debt can be used for bad. Debt could also, though, be used to allow you to build a business or to be able to allow you to get a much different scale of your business than you would have just by operating on cash. So remember, debt is a tool. Number two, the second takeaway that I learned is you want to have financial discipline when you're utilizing debt. You want to understand that you are using somebody else's money that you're eventually going to pay off, and understand that the finance charges, if you wait for a long time to pay it off, it's going to eat you alive. I think I remember seeing the average person has an average interest rate on their credit cards of about 18%. If you had a $10,000 credit line and you spent all $10,000 and only paid the minimum payment, it would take you over 30 years to pay off that balance. And I think from what I remember, like over that 30 years, you'd probably pay off about like $42,000 to pay off a $10,000 debt. Understand that the interest, the finance charges will eat you up alive. Another takeaway I learned is if you're a business owner and you're utilizing debt to grow your business or start your business, know that there's nothing wrong with it, but also understand that you need to create a plan to pay off this debt. You want to be in a position where you don't owe the bank this high interest on credit, right? So you want to start creating a plan on paying it off. Now, whether you're like, okay, on top of my sales, I'm going to contribute another 10% of my profit margin to paying down this debt. As long as you start creating a plan to allow you to start paying down the debt, now it's going to create this financial discipline. It's going to create these good habits. And finally, don't use credit cards to buy stuff to impress people that don't care. One of the biggest challenges we have as consumers in America is we tend to purchase things that we don't really need to impress people that really don't care about like what we're doing, and why are we spending all this money that now we have to work extra hard for to not only pay off the debt, but to pay off the interest. So when you are utilizing your credit cards, understand that it's a tool that can be used for good or a tool that can be used for evil. Evil in terms of your own budget and in terms of your own wealth. So if you are looking to purchase something utilizing a credit card, just think of it. Avoid immediate gratification. Maybe wait 24 hours before you make that purchase. Maybe sit and think, will purchasing this make me happy, or am I purchasing this for somebody else's pleasure? And think of those things. And remember that just like a gun, just like a knife, just like any other tool, debt is a tool. Debt is something that can be used for good or for evil. So hopefully you learned some lessons from my gross failures. I remember at one point in time, I had over $50,000 of credit card debt as a young person that wasn't making too much money. And the unfortunate thing is a lot of Americans are in that same position, just constantly in this hamster wheel of debt. And that's why there's a lot of folks out there They're making great six-figure incomes, $100,000 a year, $200,000 a year, but they're living paycheck to paycheck. They're living like they're broke because of this consumerist nature of our society and this desire to constantly buy stuff that we don't really need. So remember, debt is a tool, and learn from my lesson. Anyway, my name is Eric, your Abundant BFF. I'm here to help you discover freedom and abundance, and hopefully freedom from the debt slavery cycle that we've been put in. I make new YouTube videos once a week up here on YouTube. If you're new here, I would love to have you come join me in this journey and just be part of this amazing process. Make sure to hit the subscribe button in the bottom right corner, or down here somewhere, bottom left, something like that. Hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the notification so that way every time I put up a new video, you're notified that I've made a new video. Also, I would love to hear from you. Any comments, questions, any type of response, put them in the comment section below. I respond to each comment personally. And finally, if you know anybody else that's on this journey of looking to build true wealth, to build true abundance and freedom, tag them along. Send them this video. I would love to be part of their journey as well. I make new videos once a week, maybe more frequently, who knows? But I make videos once a week on finance and all that stuff. With that said, I wish you an amazing day. Peace.